Welcome to Vacuum Wars, and to our review of the Ecovacs DEEBOT T80s Omni robot vacuum. We bought one and put it through several different tests over the last few weeks to see whether this mid-range robot could compete against more premium models to rank in our top 20 robot vacuum list. Links are in the description, and let's get started. Starting off with the basics. The T80s is a refresh of the mid-range DEEBOT T80 Omni in the Ecovacs T series of robot vacuums. The original T80 has been replaced as the T series flagship by the recent T90 Pro Omni model, which carries some more premium hardware upgrades. So far, this year's Ecovacs robots have been impressive, occupying high places in our top 20 list. So one thing we're looking for in this model is whether it's a good option for people who want to pay less for some of the features we've seen at higher price points. Aesthetically, this robot has a softer finish than the sleeker, modernist look, with a leather-like feel on both the base station and the robot. Moving on to the pros. The T80s is a powerful vacuum cleaner. It did well at its main job of sweeping debris of many different sizes from the surfaces of both hard floors and carpets. And in our bench tests, it had a strong suction score that was 2.5 times the average. The airflow bench test was also notably higher than the average. In our carpet deep clean test, it was a high performer. For this test, we embed sand into medium pile carpet and then measure how much the vacuum is able to remove. The T80s pulled out 91% of the sand, which is way above the average, and it was even above the T90's score by a wide margin. The T80s uses Ecovacs Zero Tangle 3.0 brush system, which is a single main brush with bristles for floor agitation and a comb that pulls hairs away to prevent wrapping. A V-shaped side brush also prevents tangling and lifts for protection over wet spills. The vacuum did outstanding with our pet hair pickup test, where we flattened 2.5-inch hair onto carpet to recreate a real-world environment. The robot was able to remove 100% of the hair in our tests, which is usually a rare score. It also did perfectly in our Tangle test, where we used 7-inch hairs to see if they wrap around the brush. There were 0 hairs tangled around either the main brush or the side brush, much better than the average robot, which has 26% of the hairs tangling. Mopping was also a pro. The T80s uses last year's generation of roller called the Osmo 2.0. Using the earlier generation is one of the things that keeps the price down on this model. This style of mop continually cleans itself with fresh water and squeegees used water into a dirty water tank, which is later emptied in the dock. This system is great for wet spills because, unlike dual spinning mop pads, it does not leave the used water behind. This means that any wet messes will be picked up by the mop instead of spread around on the floor. When liquids are detected, the robot automatically lifts its brushes and switches to a mop-only mode in order to prevent the vacuum from sucking up liquid. The roller mop also lifts 0.6 inches, or 15 millimeters, over carpets in order to keep the fibers dry. This allows the robot to clean a mixture of hard floors and carpets in a single run, as opposed to a model where you have to vacuum the floor first and then switch to mopping only. The roller itself extends to the side to clean along the edges of walls and furniture. It spins at 220 RPM and uses an unspecified amount of downward pressure. The T80s scored very well in our dried-on stain test, comfortably above the average, and its water penalty score was great. It left very little water behind, which is something we like because very wet floors can become streaked when they dry. These results gave the T80s a very high combined mopping score. Between the high-performing vacuum and impressive mopping abilities, this robot was an all-around great floor cleaner. Obstacle avoidance was a big pro. The T80s uses a single RGB camera with an LED light assist and 3D structured light sensors. This is a similar system to the one on the T90, although the T90 has additional 3D edge sensors. The T80s did a great job in obstacle avoidance, getting a much higher than average score on our standard tests and our torture test, avoiding a total of 21 out of 24 possible objects. This is a very high score for a robot at any price point, and especially impressive at the mid-range tier. The T80s is rated to clear thresholds of up to a standard 20 millimeters. It had no problems crossing 19 millimeters in our threshold test, but this is one area where the premium T90 does have an advantage for homes with taller or more complex thresholds. The T90 has an official climbing limit of 40 millimeters in a tiered threshold, and it was able to cross a 32 millimeter single threshold in our test. Another big pro is the multifunctional base station. It washes the mops by soaking and spinning them in hot water that goes up to 75 degrees Celsius, which is 167 Fahrenheit, to help remove grime. It then dries the mop with hot air at 62 Celsius, or 145 Fahrenheit. Hot temperatures like these speed up the washing process and help prevent the buildup of grime and odors. The debris from the robot empties into a sealed disposable bag. Then the dock refills the robot's fresh water tank and empties its dirty water tank. The battery efficiency was a pro. It has a higher than average official battery life at 205 minutes, and in our tests, this played out as we would have expected. The robot covered more square meters per 1% of battery life than the average robot. The Ecovacs app is always a pro. It's one that is well liked by us and by users on Android and iOS. It's a very full-featured user experience with no-go and no-mop zones, room customization, scheduling, and fine-tuned cleaning settings, like mopping along the direction of the floor to minimize the appearance of streaks. Now for the cons. Navigation efficiency was a weak point for this model, with below-average floor coverage per minute. It has an embedded LiDAR navigation, which we've noticed can make it a little slower and a little less efficient than with a top-mounted spinning LiDAR. This means that the robot might take a little longer with routing its way around the floor plan and increases its chances of getting lost. The higher battery efficiency helped somewhat, but the T80s came in a little below average in estimated total coverage per charge. There aren't enough negative reviews from users yet to notice any strong patterns, but a couple of customers did cite some mapping issues and weird movements, which is likely to do with navigation, so it's something we'll keep an eye on. If a lot of negative reviews start rolling in, it can affect the robot's ranking. But the T80s was a substantial refresh for the T-Series, and it landed on our top 20 robot vacuum list, right beside the more expensive T90, or at least it did at the time of testing. If you prioritize some more premium features like higher threshold climbing and a better mop, the T90 might be worth the extra cost for you. But if you're looking for a solid floor cleaner with great obstacle avoidance and dock automations, the T80s is a more economical choice without a lot of trade-offs. For these and all our current favorite robot vacuums, be sure to check out our top 20 list located on our website. Don't forget to subscribe to Vacuum Wars before you go. Thanks for watching. Vacuum Wars independently tests new vacuums year-round, and the links in the description are updated regularly to reflect our latest top picks across multiple categories. You'll also find detailed rankings on the Vacuum Wars website, including our top 20 robot vacuums, top cordless vacuums, and more. Every review here is unsponsored, just honest results. Subscribe so you never miss one, and tap the next video to keep watching.